Hello everyone, I hope you're all safe and healthy at home or work or wherever you happen to be. For those who don't know me, my name is Amber Vroman and I'm the curator at the Berks History Center. Today I'm coming to you from my house here in Berks County. I'm enjoying this beautiful weather in hopes that I can bring you along with me today in my process of planting some seeds that will later be transplanted to our garden so that we could try to grow our own food during this time. It's typically every spring that I will plant some seeds and plants in the garden to avoid having to buy things at the store, so that in the fall we can can our own food, dry our own food, and just sort of live a little bit self-sustaining. This time especially, where it can be a little scary to go to the store, or they advise that you don't go to the store at all, perhaps you might want to consider the idea of growing your own food at home. And so I'd like to walk you through the process of what is involved with that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the supplies I use, some other methods you can use if you don't have the things that I have here at home, and give you a little bit of background as to growing food at home. It actually goes back quite a ways. For those of you who might not be familiar with the term victory garden, they became most prominent during World War I, when food was very scarce and families on the home front needed to ration their food. This was a way of boosting morale for families as well as providing their own food to sort of prevent food shortages at home. So even though we're not necessarily in those same circumstances today, it is very similar. We are, in fact, we hear it all the time, we're sort of battling an invisible war in that sense. So growing your food right now is a perfect opportunity to really avoid having to go to the store, prevent shortages for people who can't maybe grow their own food. And it's actually also a lot of fun and can be very therapeutic, and it gets you outside and enjoying the weather. So I'd like to pause the video here and go through sort of all of the supplies that you will need to grow your own food here at home. So I tried changing my location so that it wasn't so bright and sunny. However, this isn't much better, so everybody just bear with me, please. So as I said, I was going to talk you through basically the supplies you would need to start your own plants from home. Typically in March and April, during this time we're in now, is when you would plant seeds in trays at home. You don't plant in the ground yet because there's still a chance or a threat of frost. So this is basically to just get plants a head start so that by the time it is warm enough outside officially, that they can be transferred from the thing that you planted them in to the ground outside. So right now, which I actually will show you that later on once we get to that time of year, but for the time being today, we're going to just go through what is involved with planting seeds in what I'll be using today is a plastic tray. You can buy seed starting kits at your local hardware store. I've seen them even at grocery stores sometimes. Home Depot, Lowe's, places like that. However, if you don't have access to something like a seed starting kit with plastic trays, you can use something as simple as a cardboard egg carton like this. These are actually really great because you can put soil right in the little cavities that the egg sits in, except then once the plant starts growing, you can literally just tear each little cell of the egg carton and plant it right into the ground. You don't need to worry about scooping the dirt out of the little section. It can go right directly into the ground. The cardboard actually provides great nutrients for the plants. So if these are something you sort of have setting around, by all means use them. I will say if you have the styrofoam egg cartons, those are the exception where you can't put those right into the ground. Obviously the styrofoam will not decompose like the cardboard, so you would have to take the plant out of each section, which is fine because that's not much different than the plastic trays that I'll be using today. Something else you could use is like a little terracotta pot like this. If you have little planters like this sitting around, they work great. You can even use something as simple as a solo cup. Basically anything that holds dirt will do. Another thing you will need, obviously, are your seeds. So today what we will be planting, or what I will be planting I should say, is cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, celery, and cauliflower. I already, a couple weeks ago, started some other plants. These were the only ones that I didn't plant yet, so I figured I would have you join me with the ones today. Typically, vegetables like these specifically, you would plant a little bit earlier than I am today. However, with the circumstances, this is just sort of what I have to work with, and we'll just have a little bit later of a harvest for these plants. So it'll be fine. It's sort of a trial by error process. But anyway, so you need your planting device or cavity, I guess you could say. The tray I have today specifically came with little dirt pellets already in each cell that all you do is add water and the dirt expands, and then that's what you plant your seeds in. The trays I used earlier this year, those did not have dirt pellets, so I bought a garden soil. So I would recommend, if you are using a tray that does not have the soil pellets, that you do buy a specific soil that is meant for fruits and vegetables and herbs. Don't use potting soil. It doesn't have the same nutrients that the seeds will need. So make sure it's a garden soil or a seed starting soil. Those will be the best for your plants. And as far as that goes, I think that is basically what you'll need. To make it easier for myself, I take popsicle sticks and I will write what each thing is and stick that down in the ground as I plant the seeds so that I know what they are in the days to come when I might forget what I planted. But from now I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to show you how it is that I prepare the soil for the seeds. Okay, enjoy. So as I said, I'm using a plastic tray today that came with individual dirt pellets. Now as you can see, some of these cavities still have their pellets that didn't expand yet, so that I can show you what happens when you do add the water. So we'll go with this one right here. Just fill each cavity, and basically what happens then is the dirt absorbs the water and we'll be able to stir it around a little bit, and soon they'll look like these other areas which are ready for their seeds. So at this point you can see that all of the cells are expanded and full. If you are using a tray or an egg carton or something that does not have the soil pellets, you want to make sure that you put soil in up to the top of the cell and moisten the soil a little bit so that it's already on the damp side before we put the seeds in. Okay, now that each cell has dirt in it and the dirt is on the damp side, what I usually do is I'll take a pencil or a pen. You can use whatever, just as long as it has a little bit of a point to it, and literally just poke it into the center of each area, which is where we will be dropping the seeds. This just helps get a little area for the seeds to go. And so once you go through and do all of that, it will be time to plant the seeds. Okay everyone, we're gonna make the planting part of things relatively quick. When I first came out here, it was nice and quiet, and now my neighbor decided it's time to cut the grass, and the farmer behind me thought it was a good time to plow the field. So basically what we're going to be doing is, since I only have one hand available, I'll just sort of explain the process. Basically, these right here are cauliflower seeds, and so what I typically do when I plant seeds is put 2 to 3 seeds in each cell, because sometimes one of the seeds might not grow, so you want to be certain that at least one of them will grow. So basically, as you go along, just drop 2 or 3 seeds in each area and cover them up, and then you will be good to go. Okay, so at this point I have all of my seeds planted. Each row serves as a different vegetable that has been planted, marked by the popsicle stick with the name of the vegetable. On the back side I have the date of when we planted the seeds. so that I can know when to expect sprouts to occur. All right, everyone, I figured I would finish up talking to you all from inside my house now, where it's a bit more quiet now that we have finished planting the seeds. Once you're done planting your seeds in whatever you choose to plant them in, you are going to want to bring them inside and place them by a sunny window where they get plenty of light yet are still warm. It's recommended that the seeds are kept at around 70 degrees in order to germinate. So once they're inside and they're by a sunny window, it'll take a couple days for them to sprout. You'll be able to tell the number of days on the back of each seed pouch as to when they're expected to germinate. So that's typically why I include the date on the popsicle stick as to when we planted, because then I know when to expect that they will be growing. It'll be about mid to late May, that we will be transplanting them outside in the regular garden, which at that point I will also be prompting a video as to the process of getting the garden ready itself, preparing the soil, planting seeds directly in the ground outside, as well as these plants that we started now. So if anyone has any questions in the meantime, I will be posting status pictures as to how the plants are doing. I'd like to see how all of yours are doing as well. If you have any questions about the process or how to get started, or if you have any other ideas, something I might not have mentioned, by all means comment below or shoot us an email and we'd be happy to help you. And I look forward to talking to you all a little bit later in May. I hope you all enjoy. This is a great project for you to do at home with your kids during this time where we're not quite sure of things to do to keep busy. But this is really a really great time to create your own victory garden. So I hope you all enjoy. Thank you.